you feel like the Milwaukee Bucks for so many years until we got Giannis. And now, because I think Bucks fans still feel like we're underachieved and we need another one. If you're a Wisconsin fan, you feel like we got cheated, that Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers should have won more than one Super Bowl. You feel like if you are a Packer fan, you had Aaron Rodgers, another Hall of Fame quarterback, you only won one Super Bowl. You feel like if you are a Milwaukee Bucks fan, you got Giannis, a generational player, that you're only going to get one NBA championship. I say you should be thankful for all that. But once again, Tony, it doesn't help the gut that you feel, the rotten feeling that you have inside your body that the Brewers were only 3 outs away for advancing to go play the Phillies.
I didn't know we were going to get the Friday sermon from brother Gary Ellerson today. You feel it in your gut. I almost needed the choir behind us. Gary, one of the things. Well, do you know what's worse is that they had the first out. Devin Williams got the first out, and then he got 2 strikes on the next batter, and then it kind of went south from there. Yep, and that happens. And you're right. The list of times that this has happened in Wisconsin sports. I don't follow Chicago, LA, Kansas City, whatever, all these other sports teams as close here, right, especially when you add in the colleges. But I just feel like that list of so close, but yet so far, it can only be as long. Like the Wisconsin list is longer than anybody's. It has to be. It just has to be. The things that you just listed there in the first 3 minutes of the show, you can almost pinpoint exactly where you were watching the TCU game, watching the Badgers against Duke in the NCAA championship game. Pick a year. Chris, throw a year out there, right, outside of 2011, and we know where we were when the Packers lost in the playoffs, right? Like, that's just how this goes. And it's kind of fascinating to think about that we still go back to it. Like, we still are going to – I'm still going to be there on opening day next year, without a doubt. I will be watching every Packers throw the next couple of years, like every Bucks play, and it just is what it is. But, Gary, one of the things you mentioned is that Wisconsin sports fans, loyalty, obviously, whether it's Packers, Badgers, Brewers, Bucks.
Yeah.
But one of the faces of when you build the Wisconsin sports Mount Rushmore, not that we're doing that, but you're obviously going to have your Brett Favre, your Aaron Rodgers, your Bart Starr.
Yeah.
Bob Uecker is on every single list. And I don't know if you've heard this yet. Our producer, Chris, has queued up 2 things for us. And I think our radio stations in general today have done a really good job of not playing this audio because it's going to make us all sad. But I really want to listen to it because I'm sad about the Brewers. I'm sad about the Brewers, but I've accepted it, right? But the reason that I think it hurts worse for so many people is the fact that Bob Uecker isn't young, that Bob Uecker was calling fewer and fewer innings as the season went, but every time you hear his voice, I went to visit some people in one of the suites last night. When you walk out onto the club level, the radio version plays, and it happened to be a Uecker inning. And there's just something magical that happens when you hear Bob Uecker calling baseball. He is the voice of our summer. He is the voice of my Wisconsin sports fanhood. And this was his final call last night. I'm going to throw the warning out there. This one hurts. We're going to throw one out there afterwards. That's also sad. So here is Bob Uecker on our sister station, 620 WTMJ, home of the Brewers. Gary, I want to get your reaction right after Chris plays this. This is his final call of the Brewers' 3-2 collapse loss, 4-2, to the Mets last night.
Tying run at the plate. 4-2 New York. The pitch. A double play ball hit to Lindor, and the throw is going to wind up with a double play. And the New York Mets, after coming from behind with a big 4-run ninth inning rally. Wow.
When he says ninth inning and you just hear it in his voice, Gary, what goes through your mind?
This is a tough play, Tony. Mm-hmm. It just is, because I golf in the Vince Lombardi Cancer golf outing every year that's held at North Hills.
Okay.
And it's now become a mix of Bucks, Brewers, and Packers, former players.
Mm-hmm.
And every year I get my picture taken with Uke. We sit, we talk. I mean, he is still like one of the guys. But we have had voices, right, in the history of Wisconsin sports, right? Jim Irvin, right, used to call the Green Bay Packers. I mean, we've had legendary voices for the Bucks. And you're talking about legendary voice and former Brewer player in Uke. And you know that this is it. Not necessarily this is it, but how much time does he have left?
I think we all know that we want to get a World Series for the city and the team, but
Yes.
I think there's the signs in the building last night that says win one for Uke, and it's because we don't know if he has 3 more shots at this. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where every single time they fall short, it's just like I want Uke to be around to call that game sealing pitch, that game sealing hit for a Milwaukee Brewers World Series. I need it.
Right. Well, let me hit you with this side note off of you. I did not watch very many Brewer games this year at all, on purpose.
Okay.
Because I said to myself, I'm not going to do it. I don't care how many games they win. I don't care what seed they have. I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not getting interested. And then all of a sudden, briefly, because and you never really turn it off. You just say that to yourself, right? You know watching, but you just say, but I'm not going to get emotionally. I'm not because I've done this. I've seen this, right? And then all of a sudden, you hear the news about Christian Yelich, back surgery.
Yep.
And you say to yourself, there it is. You say to yourself, and then all of a sudden you got Willie Adames. I mean, this dude, where he came from. I mean, oh my God, you just, I mean, like right there, then there's certain guys, Mitchell, and there's just certain guys that pop up. You're like, okay, maybe they can do it without Christian Yelich. I mean, maybe, and then you start doing all those things, and then all of a sudden, okay, I'm all in. I'm gonna watch this series. I really am. And they lose the first game. And I say to myself, see there? I've seen this before. But guess what? They play another game tomorrow. Am I going to be there? You're damn right I'm going to be there.
There you
right
go.
in front. Cheer. Yeah, that's the Brewers. Yeah, okay. We can get this next one. And then the 9th inning comes. And then speechless after that. I'm a lot like you, a lot like all Brewer fans. Like you just don't know how to feel. I mean, I don't even have words for it, Tony. It's just so shocking. And now today you got to watch. Maybe most people don't because it's our job. The 4-letter network all day. All day
because it was a New York team too. Like because it's a New York team, like they're just. I had a meeting today with a guy. Never met him before. We were talking about we're planning. We can go behind the scenes. We were planning some stuff for the Thanalysis show down the road, and he's like, "Hey, are you in Milwaukee?" And I was like, "Yeah," because he has association with the Bucks, and he goes, "Is this a bad time to tell you that I am a diehard Mets fan?"
Who said this?
That was the guy in my meeting today. And I was just like, do you know what? Congrats, man. Like, what am I going to say? Drop a bunch of words I can't say on the radio? Like, no, congrats. You guys won it.
Yeah.
I do want to play here. And you're listening to the Homer Hour. Tony Cartagena subbing in Gary Ellerson as he is on the show every Friday. I do want to talk some Packers and some Badgers later on in the show. Homer did do. Look at this is why Homer's a star. He's off, but he also did a couple things. So you're going to hear from Homer and the Fat Jack later on in the show as well. So I want to take an early break here, but after the break, Gary, Christian Yelich was available for media after the game last night. there is video floating around. I mean, his eyes are about as red, puffy as can possibly be. But he stood there in front of the cameras and he answered questions specifically about the guy we were just talking, Bob Uecker. We're going to hear that coming up shortly after the break. I will give everyone a warning now, and when we play it, it's a tearjerker. Just straight up, it's real. Sports can make people cry sometimes. This might be one of those moments. So if you're driving around in your car, it might get a little dusty in there. You'll hear that next, coming up on the Homer Hour, 94.5 ESPN.
We do have an accident on 794. Basically, both directions of 794 are closed between Layton and Edgerton. So that's going to be affecting your ride heavily. So I would avoid that area if I were you. Other than that, southbound on 43, a little heavy from Hampton down to Capitol, and then from Fond du Lac down through the Marquette and over the high rise. Northbound's backed up, coming out of the Marquette all the way up towards Fond du Lac Avenue. We had an earlier accident on 94 eastbound right around 68th Street. They've been able to clear that out of the way. However, delays are there, definitely, from the Zoo interchange all the way to about Hawley Road. Traffic is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, clear and mild, a low of 56. Tomorrow, sunny and breezy, a slight chance for an overnight shower or storm with a high of 73. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Loziga on 94.5 ESPN.
New manager.
We're going to band together and we'll have these guys ready to compete.
New team.
Churiar grand slam.
Same old crew.
Williams, the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. By William Contreras. Another 3-run home run for Willie Adames.
It's playoff baseball season.
Believe that there's a reason this group ended up first place, wire to wire.
The hunt for Brew October on 94.5 ESPN is sponsored by Delta Dental.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Did you know Love was born November 2nd? Did you know Love was raised in Bakersfield, California? Did you know Love played college football at Utah State? Are you looking for lots of Love touchdowns the rest of this football season? Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, where we love being your one-stop shop for everything alcohol-related. With our selection of over 15,000 varieties of beer, wine, liquor, and mixers, all at the lowest prices in town, Discount Liquor has all your tailgating needs covered. We are your football party beverage headquarters. Discount Liquor, 2 locations, Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow and Maine.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
See all of our weekly specials at discountliquorinc.com.
Hey Milwaukee sports fans, it's Brad Nortman from Kyle Breston Nortman. You've invested too much into that nice ride, so don't settle for a gas station car wash. Treat it to a Tsunami Express car wash. State-of-the-art wash technology, powerful free vacuums, and unlimited wash memberships. Now with 5 locations across Greater Milwaukee, Tsunami Express is your go-to spot for a flawless finish and a first-class car wash every time. Trust me, your car will thank you. Sign up for a membership online at TsunamiExpress.com and get your first wash free. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat.
Are you looking for a reliable ride? I've got you covered. It's ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta. I use AccuTrans Group for my private transportation needs during the college football season. AccuTrans is a veteran-owned business dedicated to providing unmatched corporate, personal, and event-related transportation that you will use again and again. From corporate travel and weddings to group events, AccuTrans Group caters to every occasion. Booking is easy, safe, and dependable. Visit AccuTransGroup.com to get a quote or to book a reservation today for reliable and safe transportation.
In season, off season, draft season. Whatever season it is, we are Milwaukee's place to talk green and gold. Listen, watch, or stream live whenever, wherever. 94.5 ESPN.
Guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek on Howell Road, just south of Putes Road. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week, even Sundays. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
The Discount Liquor Twitter poll is up. The question today is simple. Is Bob Uecker the GOAT? First option, yes, second option, also yes. That's the kind of show I'm doing today with Gary Ellerson and Homer out on assignment. I'm Tony Cartagena. You are listening to the Homer Hour here on 94.5 ESPN. Stream us on the ESPN app. Also watch the show on YouTube. Gary, do you want to vote in the poll, or is that pretty self-explanatory there?
Oh, well, I mean, it's self-explanatory. It's also obvious.
Also obvious, exactly. So when I think Bob Uecker, and that's honestly for me that's why it's perfect.
Going to go against that.
This is the first ever poll that will be everyone will be in agreement on. I have done it. I have beaten the internet. We have created a poll everyone will agree on. But that was, to me, the saddest part about last night is just hearing that final call from Uecker. Not that he's done, not that anything. It's just that thought of how many more runs at this does he have, how many more runs at this does this team have, and of everything he's meant to Milwaukee and baseball, and just, he's the sound of summer in this city, in this state, and for baseball fans. But last night, and I'm warning people once again, this might make you tear up, so get the tissues, already make the excuses, it's dusty, whatever you need to do. But it's okay. Sports fans, we can cry together. It's all right. Christian Yelich stepped in front of the media last night. He was asked about Bob Uecker, and with red, puffy eyes, he gave I think this answer is about 90 seconds long, so I want people to stick with us here. But here's Christian Yelich, as real can get, talking about the legend, Bob Uecker.
For me, it was talking to Ueck. That's kind of, tough one. But, all the other stuff is, it is what it is. It's a tough way for your season to end, but talking to Yuki, one-on-one was tough. By far the hardest part of the night for me was talking to Bob and just all that stuff, but he still kind of laughs through it all and that whole deal. And I mean, all you guys know him pretty well from around here, so yeah.
Christian, what made that so tough? It almost feels like the loss is sort of secondary in your mind right now.
Yeah, it's not. I don't really want to get into that, but it's just it's tough. Yeah.
What has he meant to you?
He means a lot. It means a lot. Got to know him pretty good over the last 7 years, so just it's right over there. It's just a great guy.
That's Christian Yelich last night. Gary, I don't know if you have heard that before. When I heard it this morning, I was ooh. What are your thoughts? And just for someone at the caliber player that Christian Yelich is, to know essentially start off as a broadcaster, what a broadcaster means to that team. Like, that was just next level sad to me. You could hear it in his voice the whole time.
Well, but two things I took from that, because now this may be a little cynical, but I love the media trying to dive a little deeper to get Yelich just to open up even more.
You don't have to just say the media. That's your boy. That was your boy, Greg Matzek. You host with him every Monday.
I love him. What does he mean to you? Just trying to dive, just trying to pull all the feelings out of Yelich. I mean, I love it. Okay, gotta do your job. So I'm sorry, Tony, but that's what I noticed at first. Greg Matzek going in.
Hey, you got to get your soundbite. You got to tell the story. You got to get your soundbite.
He saw the opening, Tony, and he went in full bore. Okay, fine.
I really hope the Packers game is a blowout this weekend in the Packers' favor. So Monday, when you start your show live from Pato with Matzek at 6 p.m., you can just start with this.
Yeah, right. All right, so I put that to the side.
All right.
It's obvious, right, that they're all bought in winning for Ueck.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that was a team deal, organizational deal, and they all bought in that, and feels like their rallying cry, and that's what it was about. Now next year's got to be about something else. Could be the same thing, right? Could be the same thing, but it felt like that to me. Just being a former player, every one of those guys in that locker room, had you had the mic in front of their face and asked them that question, I think you would have gotten the same response.
For sure. I just think it means a little more too when it comes from someone like that.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying it, and you can never tell who it means more to, because everybody, it affects everybody in different ways when you are around them. And as a team, the concept, if it was winning one for the Uke, how could you not be all in?
You said earlier in the show, you get your picture with him every year at the Vince Lombardi Cancer Foundation golf outing. Do you have a Euchre story? Do you have that's air appropriate? Do you have a Euchre story for us?
That's good. I like when you say air appropriate.
Hey, it's a golf course. I know things are said.
Really. Yeah, I know the way it is, but no, not really. It's just one of those things. It's just because for the longest time, Brewers, Packers, Bucks, we didn't mingle together.
Gotcha.
Right? And the Vince Lombardi golf tournament in North Hills, they got unique with their golf tournament and changed it and started bringing all of these three groups together where we were able to intermingle and talk. Oh, there's you. There's Robin Young, right? There's Paul Molitor, right? I mean, and then there's Lynn Dickey, right? There's Devontae Adams. So all these guys now there's Tony Smith. I mean, so it's great to have all these Brewers, Bucks, and Packers together, and you're able to now talk to and intermingle, and everybody knows. And so I would say this: out of all these players that I talk about, Uke is on the Mount Rushmore, and everybody know that when we get ready to take our picture of all the celebrities, guess who's front and center?
Bob Uecker.
Bob Uecker.
Love that. I have
Brewers, Bucks, Packers. Uke is front and center of every celebrity, every former football player, every former Bucks player, every former any hockey player, anybody, because Dan Jansen goes too. Uke front and center.
Some people just transcend sports. I do have one quick other baseball-related question for you. Then at the bottom of the hour here, we are going to talk a little bit of the Packers-Rams game coming up on Sunday.
Sure.
There was a report last night that, I guess this isn't even a baseball question. Have you ever waited for an opposing player, or have you or any of your teammates ever waited for an opposing player in the parking lot?
No.
No? So did you see the report after they got into it on the field, Jesse Winker and Willie Adames, John Heyman, who's one of the best baseball reporters out there, reported that Willie Adames, he told him on the field, meet me in the parking lot, and then legit went and waited for him in the parking lot, and Jesse Winker didn't show up. I thought with some of those 80s Packers, some of the wild college teammates you had, nobody waited for anybody in the parking lot.
No, because we all did it. We did it right there between the hats. Because back then, you could fight on the field. Back then, they just let you do it. That's why we get concussed. I mean, that's why you saw the movie Concussion. I mean,
you guys just handled business right there.
Let you do it. Right there, they just let you do it right. You didn't have to beat in the parking lot.
Not even on the playgrounds in Georgia. Just meet me on the playground at 5:00. I'll be waiting for you.
Okay, that may be different. That
happened a few times.
Yeah, okay. Oh, sure.
I thought we could end the Brewers conversation on a little bit more of a funnier note, because the thought of Willie Adames waiting for Jesse Winker in the parking lot makes me laugh. I'd have had Willie's back. I feel like his whole team would have had his back too.
100%.
Hit us up on Twitter at ESPN Milwaukee at Homer Hour. The question is simple: is Bob Uecker the GOAT? Your two choices are yes and yes. We're going to switch gears here a little bit coming up after the break here on the Homer Hour, and I'm Tony Cartagena subbing in with former Badger and Packer Gary Ellerson. We're going to preview the Packers traveling out to L.A. to take on the Rams. That is coming up next. You're listening to ESPN Wisconsin.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
That earlier accident that we had on 794 between Layton and Edgerton, where the where the roadway was closed in both directions, that has been cleared out of the way. So yay. Southbound on 43 is going to be a bit backed up from Hampton down to Capitol Drive, a little bit backed up through the Marquette as well. Northbound's tightening up right around Fond du Lac Avenue. Westbound 94, you're seeing delays from 35th Street to Mitchell Boulevard, and then you're back on the brakes west of Highway 100 all the way in through Waukesha County to about Barker Road. Eastbound's going to be heavy from Highway F through the Barker Road area, and then back on the brakes from 92nd Street all the way to about 35th. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, clear and mild, low of 56. Tomorrow, sunny and breezy with a slight chance of overnight showers or storms, a high of 73. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Q Myers.
Today, we lost a bigger-than-life personality, Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo, who passed away at the age of 58 due to brain cancer. Mutombo, over the course of his 18-year career, played the game with a smile on his face with a side of intensity. A force to be reckoned with in the paint. His famous finger wag when he would block a shot, and you knew he was telling his opponent, no, 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 not today. For all he was on the court, he was even a bigger presence off the court. He poured his heart and soul into helping others. That's a direct quote from NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. Mutombo served as the NBA's first global ambassador, spoke 9 languages, founded the Dikembe Mutombo Foundation in '97, concentrating on improving health, education, and the quality of life for the people in the Congo. Shout out to Dikembe Mutombo, a Hall of Fame player on the court and a Hall of Famer in life. Rest easy, big fella. Coming up in 60 seconds, why the punter is no longer necessary in D.C.
ESPN Films presents Rhythm Masters, a Mickey Hart experience.
Rhythm Masters are elites in any craft.
Featuring Joe Montana.
It's all rhythm and timing.
Marshawn Lynch.
Rhythm was where my power came from.
Layla Ali.
It does make you think about how everything is connected.
And more with new and original music from Mickey Hart of the Grateful Dead. Rhythm Masters, a Mickey Hart experience. Stream now on ESPN Plus.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like North America's #1 home fire safety brand, Kidda. Because on a day full of football sounds you love, like fight songs, roaring crowds, and your favorite commentators...
like me, Kirk Herbstreit.
The last sound you want to hear is... Defend your game time with Kidda and the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Based on total household installations as of December 2023.
The New York Liberty are now up 2-0 in the WNBA semifinals versus the defending back-to-back champs, the Las Vegas Aces, after their 88-84 win on Tuesday. The Liberty went into the offseason after losing the 2023 finals with 2 goals, knocking off the Aces and winning a championship. The Liberty have been far and away the best team in the league for the majority of the season. Sabrina Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, Jonquel Jones, they've taken aim at the team out west and want to take the crown away from Vegas. Game 3 on Friday night will be back on the West Coast in a very hostile and fired-up arena, and something tells me the unanimous MVP, Asia Wilson, and the Aces won't go away easily. The series is the best of 5, and I expect both teams to lay it on the line Friday night for the Aces to keep their season alive and for the Liberty to knock off their arch rivals and punch their ticket to the WNBA Finals, where they'll take on either the Lynx or the Sun. But with all due respect to those two teams, this feels like the championship series. For the ESPN Sports Beat, I'm Q Myers.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
In my mind when she's not right there beside me, I go crazy 'cause here isn't where I wanna be.
Packers, Rams, Sunday, 3:25. Green Bay on the road, headed out to L.A. They should already be there. You're listening to the Homer Hour. I'm Tony Cartagena. Cousin subbing in for Homer, who's on assignment. Former Badger and Packer Gary Ellerson is with me. Gary, the injury report is out. The Friday updates have recently been released, and I got to be honest, there's some surprises on here to me. Romeo Doubs, doubtful. He didn't practice Monday.
I see that.
He was a DNP Thursday and Friday, and it says doubtful. So maybe we can get some more info from Jason Wilde on that one. Jair Alexander, questionable. Elton Jenkins.
Well, we knew that one.
Yeah, Elton Jenkins, questionable. And then Valentine, Musgrave, Jordan Morgan, all questionable. And then Christian Watson's doubtful. But let's be honest, it looked like it was going to be a week or two. Devontae Wyatt is officially out as well. So not great, but Jordan Love was a full participant in practice, and I think that's all we really care about, right?
Yeah, but the Packers to me are kind of weird. And here's why I say this, Tony. You didn't hear about the Jair Alexander injury until later in the week. Like, dudes be getting hurt in practice, and we don't even know that they're getting – because last we saw Jair in the game, he looked good. And all of a sudden, Thursday after practice, we see there's something going on.
Depending on who you ask, I do a decent, okay job around here and pay attention to stuff. When I saw Jair's name as out on Sunday morning at 10:30, because it was a noon kick, I was legitimately surprised. Like, I was legitimately surprised.
Right.
So so he was limited in practice today.
Yeah, and go back to that. Not only that he was out, it felt like to me in that game last week, Tony, the game plan was all messed up from a defensive standpoint, because I'm assuming that the game plan was for Jair to follow Justin Jefferson everywhere. And now, if just say he got hurt Thursday, now Friday and maybe Saturday, there's only 2 more days to implement a new game plan for the Minnesota Vikings.
And let's be honest with Jair, like, even if you have time you're going against who I would, arguments aside, I would put Justin Jefferson as the best wide receiver in football. You can make a case for others, whatever. But Jair's up there in top corners, right? So, like, regardless of what day he's out, you're replacing the best corner against one of the best corners against the best receiver. The drop off on whoever subs in for him, as good as who number 2 may be, there's just drop off, and that's going to throw off everything. So I was legit shocked, especially. I think fans who follow scheme and stuff like that were probably excited to see Jair actually line up against the best in the game without Joe Barry, because he was so vocal about disliking where Joe Barry had him line up most of the time. So that one threw me off. The Romeo Doubs thing, I just looked, and it says on it looks like Monday of this week or earlier this week, he was out with a personal, and then he wasn't listed, and then DNP Thursday, Friday, and now doubtful for the game. So that one is something to keep an eye on, because if Doubs and Watson are out, which it seems like a doubtful, both doubtful, that Jaden Reed's your number 1, but then your number 2 is now Dontavian Wicks. Like, that depletes the depth at that really deep wide receiver position really quickly.
Well, Bo Melton, and now what has to happen, Luke Musgrave got to show up.
I
mean, he hasn't played well here.
Funny you mention him. He DNP'd all week in practice, did not practice, and is questionable with an ankle.
Well, then you're in trouble now.
Right? So that's 3 pass catchers. I don't want to rank anybody, but that's 3 pass catchers that more than likely will not play on Sunday. So now you're down to Tucker Kraft. I don't know who tight end 3 is, if we're being honest.
And, Tucker Kraft is overworked right now. He's banged up big time.
So should I not start him on my fantasy team? Game. That's just side question.
You should, but he's banged up. I don't know how long he can go.
So this went from, just by reading this, I went from kind of having the Packers game as an afterthought this weekend. The Rams are not very good. Their offensive line sucks. Jordan Love is back. He's allegedly fully healthy now. At least the rust is off, unlike last week. This game to me kind of went from
the rust is off.
We hope, but like it kind of went from like afterthought, the Packers will win this, let's just say 24-14, something like that. It's
right.
But now with all these injuries, we didn't even talk on the defensive side of the ball. These injuries to key offensive weapons, 3 legitimate key offensive weapons. It's a little concerning.
Very concerning. So now Matt LaFleur has to get back into the mad scientist role and go figure out a game plan for Jordan Love. So now it's got to be about the run game, right? It's now Josh Jacobs needs 30 carries. Let's go.
That's how you counteract these injuries. Yeah. You go Josh Jacobs 30 plus.
Yeah. You got to go Josh. If it's not 30, he's got to at least give me 20, 25. Emmanuel Wilson's got to be 10, 15, right?
Okay.
Jaden Reed's going to do all the motion, all that kind of stuff. So you got to go heavy run game if you're down to really Bo Melton, Dontavian Wicks, and Jaden Reed. That's where you're at.
Yeah, your other top 2 are
I would
out.
have felt better. Right. I would have felt better if we had Luke Musgrave.
Luke Musgrave's huge. I would have felt better with Romeo Dobbs practicing, but his being personal, so we'll just hope for the best for him and not speculate anything there. But yeah, they're banged up. They're way more banged up than I thought, and maybe I just didn't pay attention as well this week because of all the Brewers excitement. But the line is now Packers -3, so I believe that moved a little bit. I thought I saw them at 5.5-point favorites. You'll hear more with Homer and the Fat Jack coming up here in approximately 6 minutes. But Gary, just kind of as our time ends, because we'll hear Homer and the Fat Jack coming up here. Now that we have the injury report, I wanted to talk more scheme and other stuff with you, but the injury report just caught me so far by surprise. Just kind of what are your thoughts going into Sunday?
Well, what I lose here, we got to run the football.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get a run game going. We got something like we had with Malik Willis. I think Jordan Love has struggled, and he said he struggled with the accuracy. So we got to get him some easy passes, some easy throws, right? Defensively, we got to get after the quarterback. Matthew Stafford, Tony, you know I have a list. Matthew Stafford is number 1 on my list. Mark my words. You'll see it Sunday. He's going to give you 3 chances to pick it off. One of those balls will be able to take back for a pick 6, but you got to catch him. If you don't catch him, it don't matter. You got to get Matthew Stafford off his spot. Rashawn Gary, he's my boy. I love him. We need to see him more. He's got to show up, right?
Does he have a sack this year?
He may have one.
Okay.
Quay Walker, I think they need to use him a little different than what they're using him. But Quay Walker, I think his best asset to us is rushing the passer. So hopefully they can get him rush a little bit instead of sitting in the middle. I like the Packers to win it though, 21-17.
21-17 is the prediction from Gary Ellerson. I'm going to stick with the Packers winning this one. I'll stick with 24-14, but I will agree there will be a pick. There will be a pick 6. That all those 24 points aren't all coming.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know what? I'm not picking 24. We're not kicking field goals. I'm putting no faith in their field goal kicker. 21-14 Packers. 6 of those coming off of a pick 6. We'll just give it to X. Why not? Xavier McKinney, he gets the pick 6 because he'll take advantage. And then, the other thing to look at this weekend, we got 30 seconds here, Gary. The Badgers got to get back on track against Purdue.
Well, they should beat Purdue. There's a lot of stuff going on inside of Badger football that we are not privy to. And it doesn't sound good, Tony.
Does not sound good at all. Good football weekend ahead. Enjoy every single second of it. Hopefully these teams give us a way to forget Bucks preseason basketball Sunday night as well. Forget all about the Brewers. You've been listening to the Homer Hour. Tony Cartagena, your cousin,
Homer Hour is back
subbing in.
after this on 94.5
ESPN.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Am I down here?
On this show, it's always football season.
And your argument was that the coaches wanted him to return it.
Yeah, I think,
and he very clearly said no.
They wanted him to take it to the house.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Play the results, are we?
That's what coaches do sometimes, yeah.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Hi, I'm David Gruber. When you've been seriously injured, you need the best team of professionals on your side. Call Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices to get the results you deserve. One call, that's all.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Lowe, Dobbs, Watson, Reed, and now Josh Jacobs? Football season is back, baby. Now's the time to set a game plan for your Green Bay and Wisconsin pigskin parties. This is Marie from Discount Liquor. We are your football party beverage headquarters. Whether you need an ice-cold keg, a bottle of your favorite wine, a unique craft brew, or hard-to-find liquor, we have everything you need, all at the lowest prices in town. Come see us today at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee, and on Barstow and Main in downtown Waukesha. Voted best liquor store again.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings.
Wherever you're tailgating, we'll get you all set up with your favorite beverages. We're open daily 9 to 9 and Sundays 10 to 2. See all of our weekly specials at discountliquorinc.com.
Discount Liquor.
They say seeing is believing. And when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sports book, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Woo! Hey, this is Ben Brust from Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin. People can't stop screaming about the Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza, and no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer and find out for yourself why Sport called Screamin' Sicilian's Holy Pepperoni frozen pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian. Taste what all the screamin' is about.
There's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are. But she wants a diamond. You know it. I know it. And Robert Hack Diamonds knows it too, because they offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds, and they sell them at crazy prices. How about 2-carat total weight diamond studs for $8.95? Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds. $8.95 for a 2-carat pair of diamond studs. Oh, baby! Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield and in Brookfield. Why overspend when you can save at Robert Hack Diamonds for the same diamond you're looking for? Some jewelers are charging nearly $5,000 for a lab-grown diamond. Not Robert Hack. Your visit will be worth it, and she'll think so too. Robert Hack also offers repair services and cash for your old gold. But remember, before you do anything, as I did, RobertHackDiamonds.com, and visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield.
We know that the people of Wisconsin are hard workers, that they're tough. But even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Every Friday afternoon, we talk with Fat Jack, FatJackSports.com. I say it the same. You need it more than ever. You need to know not only which teams and how to do it, but how often to do it. It's a mess now. People are trying to rip you off, not Fat Jack. Jack, good afternoon. Have I sold it the proper way?
I mean, it's tough for the general public. I know that. And if you want consistent winning plays and 27 years of results, then, yeah, you come to the right place because everybody gets the same plays. We're posted, we're documented. And in a year where, Homer, everybody's losing, it's been so difficult for the general public. Just a stat that kind of tells what the fundamental problem is. 51% of the bets on a game. So more bets than not bets. If you play just those this year, you're covering 34% of the time. They're 22-38-2, actually 22-39-2 after last night. So they are not the teams that most people are betting on are covering less than 4 out of 10 times. Translation: everybody's losing money if you're the general public. So yeah, it's a great time to get signed up. As October is always very, very profitable. We're 6-2 in the playoff. By the way, had Milwaukee last night, or we'd be 7-1 in that debacle.
I'm going to start to cry.
I mean, just an absolute gut punch to, I know, the Brewers.
But, I mean, I would say that's part of the gambling's tough because you had the right side. You were on the right side. They have their great closer, and sometimes the game just screws up. And that's one of those cases, right? Don't you feel like you made the right pick? Sometimes you do, and you just get unlucky, right?
Well, sure, and sometimes I'll have the Mets in that spot. So I'll have the wrong team, but I'll get lucky at the end. So if those even out, I like I said, I'm 6-2. Nobody's going to cry me a river. And those are free, by the way. People who sign up, they are 6-2. They got Milwaukee last night. The only other loss we had in baseball over the last week was also an extra innings loss earlier in the week. So The point is, those games are not going to determine your overall win and loss record. That they are going to sting a little bit more, but you're going to be on the wrong side and end up winning sometimes as well. The more important thing is that you're on many more correct sides than not, which is why you sign up at FatJackSports.com.
FatJackSports.com. You always help me out. I think one of the great picks this year is Wisconsin minus 14 at home against Purdue. Purdue is horrible. They just fired their offensive coordinator. Wisconsin is 0-4 against the spread. I think they're going to beat them by 30. Usually when I say stuff like that, your first line is, Homer, calm down.
Well, I would say Homer. It might be a little bit of a homer. I mean, it's easier to say it because you're in Wisconsin. But have you seen anything? You kind of brushed over one of the bigger problems. Wisconsin hasn't covered a game yet.
Correct. They're 0-4 against the spread. But I think they've had moments against USC and moments against Alabama that they look pretty good. And the public is overreacting to how bad they are, and they don't fully understand how pathetic Purdue is. All right. And as again, tell me where I'm going wrong.
If Wisconsin loses, this would be the fourth time in 5 years they have a losing record after 5 games. So this has been a Wisconsin team that has been futile against early in the year, not just this year, but in recent history. I guess where I'd land on that is I don't love Purdue. I don't think Purdue's ready to bounce up and do anything, but I don't think the general public's walking and playing Purdue. I would say there's easier spots. I mean, things that you're getting more consistent information on, like Clemson going to Florida State. Florida State has been bad against in a very similar spot where you have a team that should be a couple touchdowns better than a worse team. But I think there's more question marks with Wisconsin-Purdue. The Clemson game, my clients have gotten Clemson the last couple of weeks. They got them against North Carolina State. They got them against Stanford, and they've won easily. Florida State's been a 14-point underdog the last 2 times that they have been that big of an underdog. They've lost both of those by a combined score total of 104-25.
Wow. Because when Florida State's bad, people can't believe they're that bad, right? They just say it's Florida State. They got to be better. Am I correct there?
They said. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I said that again. They said that against Georgia Tech. They said that against Memphis. They said that against a number of teams. This Florida State team, at some point, we got to look at what we're seeing and be like, yeah, that is probably what we're going to get. Where with Purdue and Wisconsin, I don't know that we can say that. We can say with Clemson and Florida State, we know what we're going to get. Clemson's not as good as Georgia, but they're better than a lot of other teams. Florida State is underachieved and been bad against most teams. I don't know that we have that in that Purdue-Wisconsin game. So I go ahead and lay the 14 if I was going to do that. I would play Clemson minus the points against Florida State.
All right, James Madison, I love them. The over/under is 48. I don't even know who they're playing. They score 50 points and a half. I think that the bets odds makers can't appreciate and think that James Madison scores that many points. They put up 50 at North Carolina in the first half. All right, I always follow with, so where am I wrong?
No, I don't know that you are wrong. There are going to be totals or teams that the general public's not going to know enough about. James Madison was one of our plays last week, and they won by 100 again.
Yeah.
And so, it's definitely they're one of those teams that will keep scoring no matter what's happening and are going to cover a lot of numbers and go over a lot of totals. And so that's going to be the thing there. They play Louisiana Monroe. James Madison 18-2 straight up their last 20 games. And Louisiana Monroe, I mean, they've gone under their total for their last 6 games. So it is another one of those where, they're holding some teams down, but they also are, not scoring many points. And if you're not scoring a lot against James Madison, you're not only going to lose, you're going to lose badly. So, yeah, I think you're on the right track there. You know what you're getting. And Louisiana Monroe, it's not like they're playing Alabama or somebody with a really great defense. Monroe's going to be a good to a little below average defense, nationally. And so, yeah, I would think there would be a lot of points there. Another one where you could probably expect a lot of points would be a game like Louisville and SMU. That totals 57. And Louisville scoring a bunch of points, covering 14 of their last 16 at home. SMU doesn't have a very good defense, not stopping a lot of teams. So another one where you could expect a lot of points. I'd go over the total in that one as well.
Go to FactJackSports.com. You need him more than ever. All right, College of the Pros, teams that are 4-0 against the spread or 5-0 against the spread or 0-5 or 0-4. Does that factor in at all when you look at a game now?
Well, it does in a few spots because teams are not going to go undefeated against the spread or defeated every game against the spread. So teams like Kansas, Air Force, Wisconsin, we mentioned, North Carolina State's 0-4-1, North Carolina 0-4-1. Those type teams are going to cover some, and I think there's a couple of those that will this week. I like definitely Kansas. Kansas goes to Arizona State this week. Arizona State's not very good defensively, and Kansas has been really good with the exception of the last 5 minutes of the first half and the 5 minutes of the game, where they basically have just blown every lead or everything that they've done. All the gains they've made, they give away. So look for a team like Kansas to get off the goose egg in their cover spot. The other side of that coin, BYU's 5-0, Tennessee 4-0, Army 4-0, Pitt 4-0, UNLV 4-0. I do like UNLV. I think they cover again tonight. Illinois 4-0-1, and so those are some of the undefeated teams against the number. More likely to not cover this week out of that group would be a team like Tennessee. This Tennessee team, they're going to Arkansas. Arkansas's loss to Oklahoma State was in overtime. That's not a great loss, as it turns out. Oklahoma State is down a little bit this year. But this Tennessee team has not played anybody with even a decent offense yet. 3 of their opponents have an offensive ranking of 108th or worse in the country. So all the teams that defense, they didn't allow a touchdown for the first 3 weeks of the season. But that defense has been playing teams that have now shown us are really, really bad offensively. So they're getting a step up on that side of the ball. Look for Arkansas's offense to have some success. I'm not saying Tennessee's going to lose, although there will be a team or two this week just like that. And in October, that's what we get. Teams that, like Ole Miss last week, teams that are supposed to win, supposed to be that next step, they end up not only not covering but losing straight up. Tennessee is in that group this week. Not sure they lose straight up, but I definitely see them probably not covering against Arkansas.
Do you do first halves? Like somebody gave me something like Tennessee is on the over in the first half by like 30 points every game. I don't know who their coach is and stuff. Do you do halves, quarters? It's again where there are like a million things you can bet now. What's your theory on that?
Yeah, Josh Heupel's their coach, and he is a fast starter. He's somebody that wants to score a bunch early and then call off the dogs if he can. We've seen that a bunch of times this year. He likes to rest players in the second half based on performance in the first half. And so, yeah, it has been a spot. I, generally speaking, don't do that with the base package, with the top play package, because not everybody can bet halves. Not everybody can do that. I have this elite package, which is basically lower rated plays or things exactly like that, where you're playing a half or you're playing a quarter, you're playing different things that are for higher end gamblers that like a lot more variance. They'll play a lot more plays. They're not better picks. They're just more picks. And guys that have proven by signing up for that package that they have the access to playing first halves and doing some different things that player props, those type things that they want to also bet on. So I do some of that, but generally speaking, you're going to make the most money betting on sides and totals for a game. But yeah, whoever told you that's correct. The Tennessee first half has been good, not just this year, but the last 2 or 3 years, as that's Heupel's tendency is to get after them early.
All right, last quick question. You again go to fatjacksports.com. You need them more than ever. I just assume the Packers have to beat the Rams. But I don't know how that works as a bet. What's your thought on the Packers in LA against the Rams?
It's been about matchups. Well, that thought has gotten you covering 35% of the time because there will be more money most likely on Green Bay.
That's why I asked you. I didn't do anything till I asked you.
The Rams are 4-1 against the spread their last 5 at home. They play much better at SoFi than they do on the road. Also, teams heading into their bye. And I don't. A lot of these trends you can kind of make out whatever you want, but I do put some credence in this. Teams that are home, either dogs or favorites that have their bye next week, which are what the Rams are, they're at home, and Kansas City, and what Kansas City is also a home underdog or home favorite. But home teams against the bye are heading into the bye. The week before their bye, they cover 65% of the time over the last 10 years. So it's not the only piece of information you would want to factor in, but it is something that's pretty consistent. A little over 6 out of 10 times, teams that have their bye the next week will cover more times than not. That's what the Rams are against Green Bay. So Green Bay is going to have to have more consistent play at quarterback for sure after the injury and make sure that he can move around a little bit. And then also stop the run of LA, because most teams have been able to stop the run. When they've been able to stop the run and make them one-dimensional, it's been pretty easy to get to the Rams, but there haven't been not everybody's been able to do that, including San Francisco, that lost to them late. So the Rams are a different animal at home. So I would steer clear, or I lean toward the Rams plus the points.
You always get the last word. Any final quick comment?
FatJackSports.com. Player props were 13-7 again last week. 6 more games to profit. Everybody's winning on the season. If you're not making money betting the games, you're going to have winning. We're going to have winning weeks. We're going to have losing weeks. And we're going to have push weeks. If you want to make money, go to FatJackSports.com, because we're going to make a lot more money than not over the course of a season, which is what you should be thinking about if you're betting on games. Not how did I do today or how did I do this week. It's a long-term investment, especially in a year like this, when it's been very, very difficult for the general public to get ahead of things. So go to FatJackSports.com, sign up today, and win this weekend.
Thanks, Jack.
All right, brother. Have a good week. See you soon, Homer.
FatJackSports.com. Homer and Fat Jack, 94.5 ESPN.
Southbound on 43, we do have some delays from before